Hello everyone! It's time for more of our top 100 favorite superhero movies of all time. I am Captain Logan, and here is my sidekick Austin. We are just moseying along through this list, Austin, and once again, we're only going to be able to go about an hour tonight. I've got to get up early in the morning. So we'll get as many of these done as we can. Do you remember what number we left off on?
Yes, the last one we left off on was 46. So we're on to 45 now. Because my last one was The Incredibles.
Because we got past the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
You said 44?
45 is the next one.
45 is the next one. Okay, so the last thing I said was Deadpool then, right?
Yes.
This is the first time where I'm looking at this going, I can't remember if I said my next one or not.
No, I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, the last one I said was this, and then I look up and I'm like, no, like 3 from this one I definitely said last time.
Well, it's still maybe another 4 or 5 weeks. We could be into the new year before we actually finish this series, Austin.
We're gonna, like, hit our number ones at midnight.
That'd be crazy. We're already talking about a possible New Year's thing, but we'll bring that up if we end up deciding to do that. Anyway, I'm teasing things here. Well, let's see how many we can do in an hour, Austin. We'll just jump right into it.
Yeah.
I guess I should say real quick, once again, you guys still have lots of time, but figure out what your top 50 is, or as many as you can think of that you want to rank, and we're going to do a show right after we finish this series going through our communal top 50 that we'll all submit stuff for, just like we did with the top DC and Marvel characters. And we're going to keep doing stuff like this with these communal list videos. It's been really fun so far, and a cool way to get really interactive with our audience.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm really excited for everyone to see what the communal list looks like.
Has it broken 40 yet?
I think it's still at 39.
Okay, well, I'll post about it
it's
again.
At 41 now.
Hey, great. Well, I'll post about it again on the communal tab in case people that haven't been actually watching this regularly still want to look at that. Some people wait till all this is done before they watch a series like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Dan. Hi, John. Good to see you guys. Okay, Austin. Let's do it. What is your number 44?
Well, number 45.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant. 45.
My number 45, as much as people like John like to tease me, is my first James Gunn thing on the list.
Oh, there you go.
My number 45 is
Super
Citizen Toxie, the Toxic Avenger 4, which features James Gunn.
Oh, okay, okay. There we go. Loophole.
Loophole. Yes, the best Toxic Avenger sequel. It also is like maybe one of the first, if not the first, like big multiverse superhero movies. The whole plot of that is there's like a mirror realm that exists along with the regular universe where everyone's evil. And
Also, they just ripped off Mirror Mirror then.
yeah, well, and the Toxic Avenger goes into that world, and his evil version, who is the noxious offender, he goes into the main world, and so
Oh.
everyone thinks, oh, like the Toxic Avenger, like he's become evil, and then on the other side, it's like, the noxious offender's become good, and all that's really fun. There's James Gunn. James Gunn's cameo is really good. He's just there to explain what the multiverse is, and then he gets run over by a car, and it's really funny.
That sounds on brand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cars running over people and stuff in the first movie.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's about the only thing I remember about that.
Yeah. The opening of Toxic Avenger, I forget which movie it was you talked about now. There was a movie you talked about where you were like, it kind of delves into some things that could maybe be seen as mean-spirited, and I would say the Toxic Avenger opens very mean-spirited and like the exact opposite of what you described with whatever movie that was. I can't remember now, but I thought all of that was like pretty amusing, and then yeah, it just kind of goes crazy, and it's like, I think the one that people like the most out of the sequels, since people don't like 2 and 3, but I think people did like 4. And 4 wipes away the slate. It's like, this is just a sequel to the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is the most that series has ever been talked about. Not just on this channel, but ever.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. Dan Sten says that there's like actual recognizable names in that movie. That is like a who's who of cameos. There's a ton of people in that movie.
Crazy.
To the point, Stan Lee's the narrator. Like, there's
wild.
a lot of people in it. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a ton of people in that movie.
Well, we'll have to finally do that. The first movie on the commentary project in the not too distant future, because it's a whole series. There's so many we're gonna have to do.
And I'm still waiting for them to finally release that reboot that people really liked. It's ridiculous.
It'll have to happen at some point.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least it's not deleted like Batgirl.
That's true, but it's just in like the ether. Like, not even Ketchup's picked it up.
If Ketchup had picked it up, it would have been in the theater and on Blu-ray in like the same week.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, my 45 is an actual James Gunn thing, and will be naturally, of course, much higher on Austin's list. But I couldn't go any higher with this one because it's my least favorite of the trilogy. But Guardians Volume 3 at least cracked my top 50.
Oh, sorry, because you said your least favorite of the trilogy, so I thought you meant 2.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We just did a whole show before this, and my brain's not working great.
No, it's
I already did Volume 2, which was 54.
Oh, okay.
So
I got you.
So yeah, 3 cracked my top 50, but is only at 45. I guess just because of the sheer number of other movies that are kind of bigger things for me. But
yeah, I mean, that's respectable. We're at a point now, like I said last time with The Incredibles, we're like,
it gets a lot more arbitrary, and everything after this is
like
going to be
movies,
for us great in some way.
Exactly.
Either just a lot of fun to watch. There might still be some sort of guilty pleasures here, or some people might consider them that way. But anyway, So I'm sorry, I was not thinking about this right. It's funny because I looked at that. Somehow my brain said Volume 2, and I went, I thought we talked about this already. Why is this in here? Which is why I couldn't figure out where we were starting today. Because I was just like, didn't we talk about like ego and all the things that I thought were sloppy with that movie? I don't know. But anyway,
Sardo Hasselfra.
I think the main reason it's even as low as it is just because it's newer and I've not spent enough time with it.
That's a hard thing to judge.
The more I watch that, the higher it's likely to go. I admire that movie a lot. I think it did an excellent job sticking the landing for that as a trilogy. I think it's in its way a true trilogy. I love Rocket's backstory. I think it's wonderfully heartbreaking. It carves out its own very specific tone that manages to still fit really well with the other two. But I like how relatively somber that movie is, while simultaneously having some of the funniest things in the franchise. Really ambitious action. A couple of the most impressive action set pieces in that franchise. And I like the villain better than a lot of people. I think his performance is quite excellent.
I do too. I think he's really good.
I think Peter Quill has a lot of pathos in that, in how he's handling Rocket's near death. The Gamora thing should have driven me crazy, and it was handled pretty well.
It's also, I think,
I
the
was
only...
not interested in that. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want the Gamora from the past. They're like trying to rekindle the friendship and all, or the romance and all of that. And I don't want to say it wastes time with that. It spends more time on that than I probably wanted it to, but it's handled okay.
When I like that they make it a metaphor for falling out of love with someone in a relationship, the way they handle it like that, I think really works. I also think it's the only post-Endgame MCU project that doesn't make a joke out of the Thanos snap.
Oh, that's a good point.
Somebody fact check that, but I feel like most of the time when we flash back to it, I mean, I guess we don't do it with
There's probably one or
Monica
two
Rambeau. Like there's
that
probably
are
like
just
one or two, but like I feel like
disconnected enough from the Thanos snap that they wouldn't even feel the need to reference it. But
yeah, but I feel like it's the one that has the most pathos around like what happened in Endgame, which is also funny because it also feels kind of frustrated with what happened in Endgame.
it is, and it's a little bit awkward as the end. But I think all of MCU's separate series suffer from this a little bit. It's a little bit awkward in that it's now informed by other movies when the first two are totally in their own bubble and don't deal with any of that stuff. I mean, like, yeah, Thanos shows up in the first movie, but other than that, the second movie is still completely removed from the rest of the universe. And then
Well, it somehow did the Dark Knight thing better, where the first two movies are only like 6 months apart, and then the second one would have to be probably even over 8 years because
yeah, that's true.
time skip.
But it gets away with it because you've also seen those characters do things that have to inform this, and not just with the Infinity movies, but you've even had a Christmas special in between. So like, there's all this
Benefits
stuff that informs it, and I still want to think that despite all of that, that third movie would probably watch more or less okay with the other two if you never watched everything else outside of it, as well as anything else has managed that in MCU. You know, like Iron Man does not have a true trilogy. Like Iron Man 3 just has to be informed too much by Avengers. Like there's no way around it. But
I guess maybe Captain America. But I guess that's a little harder with Civil War.
yeah, that's hard
Never
with
mind.
Civil War.
I was just thinking the first, like the jump from the first two. But
No,
yeah,
that's true. But anyway, I digress. I haven't spent a ton of time with it yet. I've watched it probably 3 times at this point.
well, that's what I said with Transformers 1 last time. Is I feel weird putting it that high because it just came out. Like, so I get
Right.
exactly where you're coming from.
It also has, so far, I haven't listened to it on its own yet, but the weakest rock soundtrack of the 3. But it's also stuck in an era that just doesn't have as much classic hidden gems as hidden or otherwise as the first two do. And I'm saying that as a big 90s pop rock fan.
When it's
But that's just because that's what I grew up with. I mean, I admit we're not in as good of an era for that stuff.
well, I was just gonna say it's also the only one that's not really in an era. Like it's you have music from the 70s all the way to I think the most recent song on it's like 2008.
Yeah, that's true too. Because
so,
it does that Zune conceit where he's got access to more music.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I remember when Guardians 2 came out, Gunn was like, the Zune thing means that the next movie can have anything up to 2014. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But I think it ended up working in the movie, but I also probably agree with you that it does probably have the weakest soundtrack overall for me.
Okay, Austin, what's your next one, man?
My 44 is probably going to be way higher on your list. It's Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Did not make my list at all.
um, it's everything that the first movie was kind of lacking. It's just one hell of a good time. It's very simple. There is kind of a theme going on between my 43 and 44, which I can explain a little bit better when we get to my 43. But like it's a very simple film of.
I'm gonna have that too, actually, with my
Oh, cool.
44 and 43, but I'm not gonna have to explain it
Oh, okay.
at all. It will be very obvious.
I mean, it might be obvious for some people, but I might have to explain it as well.
Mine will be very obvious. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, it's a good time. Nicolas Cage kind of gets to be taken off the reins a little bit, while the first one is more just okay. Like you're a leading man guy for like a big franchise thing. By the time 2 comes out, they're like, this is niche enough. You can do whatever you want, and you can really tell that he mocaps Ghost Rider in that. Just the way he moves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they do a lot of like just really creative things with that. Like there's that bit where he gets in the big machine thing and like hellifies that. It has one of the dumbest but simultaneously awesome like one-liner at the end where he puts the devil on his chain and just yells "Go back!" or I think it's "Go home" or like "Go back to hell" or whatever it is. It's like "Go back home," and he like slams him into the ground and you like do a tracking shot of him falling into hell. It's very dumb. It's very amusing. Blackout's a pretty good villain in that too.
I found that to be one of those kind of like flawed and not especially great scripts that's in some ways elevated a little bit by just like
That's
atmosphere
exactly
and
what it is.
charm and stuff.
Yeah.
The girl in that I don't think is very good.
Mhm. No, absolutely. I mean, it's
But
entirely made just by that director and like his style.
yeah, the pseudo grindhouse thing that does like really works for it,
Mhm.
and you can tell it's much more what Cage probably would have wanted in the first place.
Yeah, and it has one of the most quoted by me lines in any superhero film, which is "scraping at the door."
Yeah, which is what Austin was doing to me, trying to get me to put this on my list, but
We know it's higher. It's
he
okay.
did not succeed.
We know it's in your top 5. What is your 44?
No, that's a really weird movie, which is the highest praise I can give it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the type of movie where like I think some people watch it as so bad it's good, but I'm like, no, a lot of it's intentional. I wouldn't say it's so bad it's good. Like it's on its own merits.
No, I think so too. There's definitely a tongue in cheekness happening
Mm-hmm.
with
That's a
that.
B movie.
So my 44 is, I don't know. I feel like I just have to keep apologizing for things. You
Batman Ninja.
you can't please everybody, and this isn't about that, because it's my list of favorites and not, objectively best or what objectively whatever. My 44 would be a lot higher on a number of people's list, and I can't remember if you've said this already, so it may be even higher on
Oh,
yours.
I'm getting nervous.
But my 44 is the first Spider-Man. Is Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie.
Ah, I mean, fair enough. I've not said it yet. I said Spider-Man 2 last week,
Oh, that's right, you did.
but I've not gone to the first one yet.
What's your next one? No, we just tackled 2 recently. Have we done the first one yet together?
Nope.
I guess not. I did that as an unscripted video. I want to say a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I want to say that's one of the first ones you did.
Uh, Obviously, I mean, we've talked a ton about the groundwork that lays for so much else that comes after it, and how Sam Raimi's style, oddly works for that, and how it's got this really cool juxtaposition, where it's really wholesome, but there's a little bit of an edge to it because of who's directing it. And I think with 2, it gets away that gets in its way a little bit. I don't that happens quite as much with 1. Defoe is hilarious.
Yeah, he is so good in that movie that his character makes no sense, and
we still love
it. Doesn't even matter. Like, most people won't even recognize that when watching it.
No, he's like absolutely on the level of Jack Nicholson in '89. Like, you could almost say that's like a blueprint.
Absolutely. It also, I feel like more people are.
In fact, Jack Nicholson's Joker plot makes more sense, and it doesn't really make sense. But it actually makes more sense to me than Green Goblin's plot, because
Jack accomplishes it immediately.
That's what I'm saying, because Joker shows up and kills Jack Palance, and then goes, well, I don't know, I guess I'll make art till somebody dies. And then Green Goblin does the same thing. He kills everyone that wronged him, and then he goes, I don't know, I guess I'll just fly around and try to kill Spider-Man. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
No. It's even better than that. You're not giving this movie enough credit, Cap.
All right.
He's like, I've accomplished my goals. I'm gonna go dress up and drag in a fire.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I mean, you do you, boo, but I don't know if you have any other plans outside of that.
Yeah, like, if he doesn't go to Thanksgiving and get a sense that Peter Parker is probably Spider-Man, what does the rest of that movie look like? Like, what does he do? I have no idea.
It kind of needs the thing that the game has, where the game has like a whole section where when they first fight, there's like a piece of one of his tech that like breaks off, and Peter sees it's from Oscorp, and then you have a level where you have to break into Oscorp, and that's how he finds out that he's the Green Goblin. The movie needs like something like that. I think it would also help Peter being a little bit more motivated and like kind of pushing the story forward.
I'm going to go this far. I think so. I've gone back and forth over the years with this movie, and I like it a lot more right now than I did a few years ago. Going back to it, I've kind of come back around to it where it's weirdly holding up better, or I'm appreciating different things about it than I did before. And I had that with Spider-Man 2 recently when we did that. I was more positive on that than I have been, a few years before that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would probably put Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie higher on my list if it was as not straightforward and odd and confusing as 89 is, because it reminds me of 89 in a lot of ways, and I the Danny Elfman score probably helps with that.
It's my generation's 89.
It is, and it's got some of that oddness, and it's still an early enough superhero movie that it's the genre still finding its sea legs. And as I've always said with that movie, but it also feels like the really obvious, straightforward, cookie cutter, what's the word I'm looking for? The formula, back to formula, that you would think every superhero movie would have had before then, but we didn't have enough to have that yet. And I had that in the theater where I was like, oh, this is the superhero formula. And then I went, wait a minute, we haven't even had any of these. How am I thinking? I remember thinking this in the theater. I was like, oh, they're all like this. I'm like, none of them are like this. It was like I was seeing the future. They're all going to be like this. And they were, but, so it's pretty cookie cutter. It's pretty comic book formulaic. And, if only it was as odd as 89, I actually probably like it a little better.
Do you find, Cap, with that formula that you were like, you found it amusing for a while, but then, with every good
found it amusing for a while. Exactly.
Fail.
And casting holds it back a little bit for me because I never thought Tobey Maguire was right for that part.
Mm-hmm. No, I have the same thing. I feel like at this point I've just kind of settled on it.
Yeah.
I watch it and I'm like, okay, like it's just this is their version.
And there were people that had that with Keaton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. absolutely.
But I still really like what that movie looks like, and you cannot underestimate how impressive the the effects, particularly web swinging, are at that time. That they were able to even pull that off in 2002.
I think, yes.
Yeah.
It at this point, I think, still has the best final swing in a Spider-Man film.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like even the sequels don't top it. But also, I think it also is the best climax in a Spider-Man film, and like one of the best climaxes in a superhero film. The end fight with Green Goblin's like really gritty, but it also has like cartoony sound effects throughout. But it doesn't take away from how rough it feels.
No, that's true.
It's really weird.
Where it's just all... Yeah, it feels oddly realistic within a very heightened, unrealistic
there's
universe.
a roughness to that final fight that I don't know if we've ever really recaptured in any superhero movie.
And it feels really classic Spider-Man because you want the personal stakes to be that high. So like, oh, this is a guy that could die.
Yeah.
And that isn't over his head and shouldn't be able to get through this. And no, that was very impactful in the theater. There's a visceralness to that.
I remember as a kid, when he says, "You've spun your last web, Spider-Man," like that line hit so hard where I was like, "Oh my god, like it's real, like this is it."
Robert says, "Yeah, no, that's exactly how I felt." Robert says, basically every time Cap sees a superhero movie, his life flashes before his eyes. And it was like that going all the way back, even before this was the thing I do. Okay, Austin, what is your next one, sir?
My phone turned off. Okay, hold on, sorry. My 43 is Punisher Warzone. I think you can probably draw the obvious connection between that and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Like, they're both very over the top, like you said, kind of grindhousey.
They're goofy but overly violent, and they're kind of grindhousey. And both of those movies have a real stylishness to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Those belong in the same conversation.
100%.
They're also both soft reboot sequels.
Yep, and they're like the two Marvel Knights films. I think it's just the two of them.
Yeah, in fact, they would almost have every major thing in common if only the same actor had come back.
Yeah, Warzone is like in development for so long that it starts just as a sequel.
Yeah,
and then over time loses it. But
Spirit of Vengeance probably did not have that. That movie probably was never a sequel to the original.
For which one, sorry?
Spirit of Vengeance probably was not like that.
I have no idea. I want them to make a third one that's also just completely separated, so that he can have like an even more bizarre trilogy than Wolverine.
Because Wolverine is the one character that currently sort of has that dominated.
Yeah.
Where it's the same actor arguably playing that character in three completely different continuities. Arguably.
Yeah. No, give Nicolas Cage his Logan, and it will look like a much more bizarre trilogy.
Oh, I would love that.
Wonderful.
He should get his Logan. And then at the end, he just dies and goes to hell.
And it's just him, and he's like, well, I'm in hell now.
And then the big twist is Malbolgia shows up.
Oh, no. I was going to say, it could also just be Ghost Rider in hell. Like, he just drives to hell, and he's like, I'm going to kill hell now.
Dude, but it would be pretty cool if you did a Ghost Rider movie where the whole thing was in hell.
That's what I mean. Like, it could just be that entire movie. Yeah, like, it could just be, like, Doom. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna kill all the demons. I'm going down.
No, just do, like, a Ghost Rider versus Mephisto film. It'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. It would be great.
Why the hell not?
Exactly. Nicolas Cage would be down to do that. 100%.
Well, if he was willing to play a live-action Spider-Man noir...
Yeah,
as crazy as that is.
Crazy. Like, there's potential. That's like one of the best Spider-Man things put to screen, and I don't get it, but it's crazy.
I know. There's also potential that it doesn't work at all, but
that is possible.
It looks like it could be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping it can justify being a serialized TV show and not just a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't immediately see that.
I mean, I could see it, like, depending on what they do with the villain stuff.
Yeah.
Because you could throw in just a ton of Spider-Man villains. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that could be cool. I'm just worried about the stretch out factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't want it to be like that, yeah.
I'm sorry, we didn't talk hardly at all about Punisher Warzone.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's basically just a slasher film. Like, the Punisher just goes around killing people in the most awesome ways ever. Like, he punches a man's head in. And I feel like I've seen this movie like 100 times at this point. It's such a good time.
Well, and I respected it a lot more after doing a little bit of background research for the commentary that we did.
And one of the few superhero films directed by a woman.
Yeah, and that violent and gritty.
Mm-hmm. And she gets like no love.
No, it's not fair.
It's not fair at all. I think we complained about that a lot.
We did. I have so much respect for her because she went back to source material and went, "Oh, well, this is what this is."
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even really her background. I mean, like, she was really qualified because of I can't remember. Did she have like a military background? I think.
I don't remember. It's been so long since we did that.
I think she was, maybe she was in boxing or something. I can't remember, but she was like a real physical kind of, get your hands dirty kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I like the villains a lot, where that also kind of follows the 89 thing, and they're just completely ridiculous. And Ray Stevenson's really good as the Punisher. I think I mentioned when I brought up the Thomas Jane one that, like, I don't think we have a bad Punisher actor except maybe Lundgren. But like,
she was a kickboxer. There you go.
Yeah. But like, I like those main three Punishers we've had, like, pretty uneven. Like, they're all really good.
And that's why they're all going to be on Austin's list.
Well, I mean, no, that has to be the last one.
Oh, that's true, because you've already talked about the 04.
Yep. And I can't do Bernthal, but his show would probably be lower. But
I feel a little bad not including any of those. That's one of those things where it becomes sort of a mulligan, because I don't like any of them enough over the others to not include all of them or none of them, if that makes any sense. Like, I know I've got 100 slots, but I would have to leave 2 of them out, and I don't really know how I would do it. I would feel really weird putting Lundgren's there and not the other 2. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do that.
And I feel like if any of them made your list, it would probably be 04. I would imagine.
Probably.
But like, you're right, I can see where you're coming from, where it's like, that's all about the same.
Okay, so maybe predictably, and I'm somewhat copping out again, I did this with another thing earlier, but I put Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 right next to each other.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Because I'm in this place now with these where I cannot decide which one I like over the other, and obviously everybody knows about all my complaints with the relationship drama and stuff in 2, that not dropped it lower than Spider-Man, but holds it back. It should be higher on this list than the first movie, and that's the penalty I'm giving it because of the relationship crap and how much I cannot stand Mary Jane in that movie. I've come right back around on Doc Ock on the last watch, in the last discussion that Austin and I had, because I guess it's just a rule that every few years I have to revisit this and talk very detailed about this film. I'm back to really appreciating the tragedy and pathos of that character again, and as cool as it would have been to see a more straight off the page Doc Ock, I think the praise that movie was given, especially at the time, for making a supervillain that sympathetic was warranted. I don't like now how hard some movies feel like they have to work to do that with characters that absolutely don't warrant it, and just not everybody has to be that. You can have straight up terrible, horrible, no good, very bad people.
Yeah, the High Evolutionary.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. No, it was super nice. It was like, oh yeah, we can just have people who are just like awful, and like it's cathartic when the hero beats them.
Yeah, but and there's, uh, well, again, this just goes back to the relationship stuff, but you've got a lot more kind of contrived situations. I feel like in Spider-Man 2, just to keep like bringing Peter Parker down,
Hmm.
that are trying to be both kind of sad and comedic at the same time, and I don't think it always manages that great. I also like what that movie looks like a lot.
No, I
Like with the
agree.
first movie, I think it's exactly what you want from a sequel in being bigger with its stakes and with its villain hijinks and uh, being more ambitious about its action and its set pieces and stuff.
Yeah, like we'll get to it on my list. I've always liked the first Spider-Man a little bit more than the second one, but there are a lot of things in two that I like more than things in one. So it's like, where are you gonna get on that? Where it's like overall, I think I like one a little bit more, but two is like going for more, and it fumbles in some ways, and it also really succeeds in others.
Yeah, I also think you gotta give it credit. And there was a time where I should say I wouldn't have agreed with you at all, and there would have been a much deeper chasm between them. And now I've got it just barely above the first one.
Hmm.
I think you also have to give it a lot of credit for being one of. Is it the only one? It's probably not the only one. We'd probably have to rack our brains a little bit. It's in here in the moment the only franchise I can think of where arguably the first and second movies are as influential. Maybe Superman 1 and 2 kind of have this. But
Superman 1 and 2 are probably the closest.
are you with me on this? Like Spider-Man again create the first movie creates that formula, really sets the tone. There's a lot of things that can't get away from it. Spider-Man 2 does that with Doc Ock real hard with its villain. Like we're definitely looking back at that movie a lot.
So I'm gonna say it's Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Superman, Superman 2, and then Batman, Batman Returns. I think are probably like the three that
Maybe
have
so.
it the
I
most.
I maybe wouldn't have agreed with you with Returns until more recently. There's a lot of stuff in the last 10, 15 years that can't get away from it.
No, exactly. But
I don't think I
even
would have agreed with you 15 years ago.
but even like in terms of like the Schumacher movies, like they're still following the return structure, just with a different.
That's true.
Uh,
And even the Spider-Man movies can't get away from it. Like there are other franchises that are going, "Oh, you got to have two villains when you have a sequel, and one of them has to die." Like
mhm.
we still do that.
Yep.
We still do it now.
Now
Now.
it is true. Or you can be like Spider-Man and do 115. Not even six, just five.
I I hope nobody minds that I'm bringing this up. Hopefully, this is not too much of a spoiler. But I am reading this new Batman '89 sequel, the Batman Resurrection. I'm 100 pages into this, and this is John Jackson Miller. This just came out, and Max Schreck is indeed a character in this book.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I just realized my next one has a connection to your last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get to that. I'm excited to find out.
My number 42 is
Real quick though, did you understand the theme of my last two?
no.
Oh, okay. I'll
Is it
explain it to you later
because
after class.
is it because Spider-Man 1 is an origin and then 2 is an origin for Doc Ock? Is that the connection?
um.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay.
Spider-Man 1, Willem Dafoe is the bad guy, and
Hmm.
in Spider-Man 2, there's that behind-the-scenes video where they put Willem Dafoe in the Doc Ock arms. That's it.
You might be overthinking this.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, Robert. This book does not ignore returns. It's a bridger
Okay, yeah, that
between
was
them.
something I was unsure about.
It's cool. And I also have not been able to full on confirm yet if it is considering Forever and Robin in its canon. I'm not sure yet. I don't think it is, but it may be. I because there's references and stuff. I'm not sure yet.
Max Shrek walks in and he's like, "The Floronic Man is working with Bane."
I'm waiting for something to completely contradict it, and that has not happened yet.
Oh,
but I'm only 100 pages in, so
fascinating. Who's the villain in that book?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to give it away.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't know if I do.
Fair enough.
You get it right away.
You can always tell me like off camera. Actually, unless it's the thing you told me the other day.
I don't think I told you anything.
There is a villain that you told me is in it, but I assumed he was just in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
I'll tell you later. People, if you like that franchise, you got to read this. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, review soon. Hopefully, I find the time to finish it in the next couple weeks, and I can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So interrupted you.
That's okay. Your 43 had Doc Ock, but his original name was taken. My 42 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, there you go. So let's see how much higher it was than where I had it. Multiverse. Oh, I had it at 60.
Yeah, that's probably more fair. And I have a lot of issues with In the Mouth of Madness, or in the God dang it.
No, that's a perfect movie. What are you talking about?
I love In the Mouth of Madness. The Multiverse of Madness. I mean, we just talked about it. We don't have to go into it too much, but it's just a good time. I enjoy it.
And it's got a lot more.
Strange.
It's got a lot more stuff that you want from Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
right.
You and I both love that movie, and no one else does, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
It's funny that you had that right after I had 2 Raimi movies.
That is really funny.
That's where they land. Just Raimi movies. They're landing in the 40s, folks. Right in the 40s.
Beautiful stuff. What is your answer to the universe, Cap?
Apparently. So once again, just keep in mind that we and Austin went even looser because he went with some things that don't even land on our official list for the commentary project. But I went with things that I might not even always count as a superhero movie, but they're on that list, so I felt like I had to include them if I liked them. So my 42 is Sin City, which I did an old scripted superhero rewind on and reviewed it, as a superhero movie as much as I could. So even though I still don't even 100% think of it as a superhero movie, for the purposes of this, I felt like I had to put it where it would land, and yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's it was a, what is the word I'm looking for? It is getting late tonight, folks. That was a real game changer when that came out, and it's another one of those great things that ruined everything, because so much stuff started shooting 100% or 70% green screen that didn't warrant it and didn't do it well, but that movie looked great in having actors that were working almost entirely on green screens and having no idea what they were on top of and what they were looking at, and it works in creating a look as close to those comics as possible, and it was at the time certainly one of the most comic book looking movies because of that. The casting in that is crazy good, and it's the kind of material that was not really my thing, but that hilariously and kind of shockingly my wife turned me around on, which it seems really uncharacteristic of her, but she was, I think, just really taken by the style and the kind of noirishness of that, and really liked some of the characters in that, particularly like Marv, and that was a movie that I had really no interest in, and then somebody that she worked with lent it to her. And so I went to her apartment one day and caught her watching it, and I was like, Sarah, this seems like the last thing on earth you would be watching. And she's like, yeah, but it's great. And so we watched it together, and I kind of also fell in love with it. And I also think the sequel is a little better than people give it credit for, though it's much dodgier. But it has a couple vignettes that are almost as good as some of the stuff in that first movie, but is much more of a mixed bag. And I don't think that first movie has a weak link with its vignettes. I think they're all really great.
It's really the Creep Show and Creep Show 2 of comic book films.
That's hilarious.
Sin City is a big one that did not make my list.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just not a fan of like the how it's shot. It's got too much valley for me. But I also respect that. Like I know that I'm kind of on the outs of that, or like, in the minority. I mean,
well, that's fair. That's fair because I mean, there's very little of it attempted at after it that I liked. I think it might have just been for that material. I think it gets away with some stuff that doesn't technically look great, but to me looks good for what it's trying to adapt.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think being a little bit more stylish, and this is the same director, but I think kind of helped it age a little bit better than something like a Shark Boy and Lava Girl or Spy Kids 3, which he does that same thing with, but not in the same kind of stylish way. And it's just like, oh, these are just people on a green screen.
And a lot of it for me is just a tone thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mood it puts me in. I like the atmosphere with that. It is the only movie where I feel like Jessica Alba is an actress. I think she's great in that, and nothing else I've ever seen her in.
No, I mean the cast is all really good.
This movie deserves to be on this list because of that.
Yeah, that cast is all really good. Like if you take exactly that and put it just on a real set, it would probably be like one of my favorite movies. Like everything else around it is really good. It's just the one thing that holds it back for me. So I get it.
Well, and I also, I'm talking about how good it is as adaptation. I've only really flipped through the Sin City books, so like I know what they look like. I haven't really sat down and cover to cover read one because it's not really my thing for comics.
Mm-hmm.
And so oddly, I want to see those characters move and hear how they talk. And I can't really get into that genre and that style as much on the page. Just a personal preference thing, I guess.
That's fair.
So it's weird. There are certain things with Frank Miller that I think work a little bit better in adaptation, and then other things that don't. Like, we got about the best Dark Knight Returns that you could probably expect to get, but I think that works better on the page.
Well, I mean, I think.
But then Sin City, I much prefer to see, and I would love an animated adaptation of that.
Mm-hmm. When I mean. Miller adapts way better than Moore ever has.
Yes. Yeah, and Miller reads like a thing where he wouldn't mind it being adapted, and Moore is not just a guy that goes, don't adapt my stuff, but the stuff itself kind of screams it. Like, this is literature, leave me alone.
Well, he's like weirdly hypocritical with all of that too. It's I don't know, it's a whole thing.
Robert, being in black and white probably helps it a lot. Yeah, and it felt like a new novelty. Not that nothing had ever done it before, but just having
scale.
Color. Well, what I was going to say is colors that pop out of black and white. Mm-hmm. When it's all digital, it's not like that's hard to do, but it looks hard. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's late at night. It probably doesn't. Austin, what is your next one, sir?
My number 41 is
See if we can knock out a couple more here at least.
My number 41 is going to be your number 2, just under Iron Man 2.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's Batman Begins.
I guess we'll see where that falls. I'm glad it broke the top 50. That's good.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it is a good movie. It's more my Batman than any of the other Nolan films.
Well, I was going to say, I want to say you've said Dark Knight already.
I have, yeah. It was number 51. I like Begins. I think there's some small issues I have with it. Like
Sure.
I think the shaky cam and like really like close up action stuff really works for when we first introduced Batman and kind of nowhere else in that movie. The Batmobile scene being an exception. I think Robert last time when I talked about Dark Knight having not great action was like, but the vehicle stuff. Nolan is always good with vehicle stuff. It's just everything outside of that.
And
Um,
then that's awkward because as fun as that scene is, it kind of doesn't belong in that movie.
no, it's kind of just there because we need an action beat.
Yeah. And you haven't been watching really an action movie until that scene. And then
Mm.
you're like, oh, here's the obligatory car chase. But I mean, it's a really cool car chase.
No, I mean they're flying on the rooftops.
Well, and the nice
Uh,
thing is, it's worth the whole scene, even as shoehorned in as it feels. Just for, to me anyway, just for that line right after it, damn good television. That
oh, okay,
that whole scene is worth damn good television to me.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, definitely.
Alfred points to the TV. What was that? Or what is that? Damn good television. Some nice writing. I don't know who deserves the credit for that. I don't know if that's a Goyer line. That's pretty good.
That does sound like a Goyer line, but it could have been any of them. I don't know.
I'm
Uh,
sorry I'm stepping on you, but it's going to be
no, it's
probably a
okay.
few shows before I get to talk about this. Go ahead.
One of the issues I've also always had with it, and I think it's worse after the Batman for me, and obviously, like I get it, this is a stepping stone to something like this, so I'm not going like, oh, why didn't you end exactly the way that this did? But it also kind of exasperated an issue that I always had with it, which is I think Batman Begins ends too cleanly, where it goes like we dumped like half the city with fear toxin, and then we kind of never talk about it after that. Like Batman stopped the entire city, and there's like one throwaway line where he's like, "Oh, the people who broke out of Arkham are still out there. You got to stop them, Batman." But outside of that, um, it's kind of all we address with that. And there's that part of me, especially now after the Batman, where I'm like, I almost need the ending of that movie where we're kind of dealing with the rest of the city and actually seeing that. Like I get they cleaned it up, between scenes, but it's just something that I've always felt like kind of needed to be addressed a little bit more.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you and I have talked about this a little bit, and that is a perfectly reasonable complaint. Can
Mhm.
I rebut it a little bit?
Go for it.
Okay, so my rebuttal is it's more of a problem for a sequel.
To a degree, but I also want it in that movie.
It is
But
enough
you
in
can
that.
fix it in a sequel.
No, it is enough in that movie though, and I'll tell you why.
Mm.
Because and I get that you already explained like the paying lip service thing because Gordon has the line at the end where he says the Narrows is lost. He does emphasize that really hard.
Mhm.
And it feels like a thing we're setting up if we're going to do a sequel. It's like the Narrows is lost. There's this whole part of the city. The other thing is the reason that I don't need it as emphasized as hard as in the Batman is because the situations are very different. That
No, and they are.
flood went through the whole city. The
Mhm.
Narrows is behind a bridge, and they
But it
can.
also goes past that. Like it does go into the main city.
Does it?
Yeah, because
I thought the whole thing was just past the bridge.
no, because it would have to continue quite a bit past that, like with how much all that's going on, I would think. But like you're seeing the train go, like he stops the train at Wayne Tower, like it's already into the kind of heart of the city.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like it's just yeah, it's like because you're right. Like if it was just the Narrows thing, like it's the fact that we're like
Well, it never occurred to me that the gas got that far. I guess. I think what's happening, maybe I've never thought about this. The dozens of times I've watched this, and the uh, half of that we've talked about it on the channel. I bet what's going on there is that you're seeing something visually that is happening that the script does not realize is happening.
Yeah, because I do have some of that with
You are maybe right about that.
with
That's how far I will concede, but I don't
Yeah.
think the script knows it.
No, I agree because I have stuff like that with Begins. Like I talked about this, I think when we did the history thing, but you have that whole section where he's like, "I'm not gonna kill this guy," and then he throws the thing and he blows up the entire building of ninjas. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but you just killed a bunch of people, like, in order to make that statement. So no, I agree. Like, I do think it's the script and what you're seeing aren't fully communicating with each other. So yeah, 100%. I really like Ra's al Ghul in that movie. I think Rises kind of ruins what I have with that character in it, where, and I think I also talked about this in the history thing, where to me in Begins, Ra's al Ghul is a name that's passed down because that's the only thing that makes sense with what he talks about with, men are killed, like you have to become a legend, an idea. And that would explain why Ra's al Ghul is like a thing that exists, that like keeps going and is like, just this legend.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea if you're going to do a more realistic take on like the Lazarus Pit thing. And just a lot of that kind of like reinvention stuff I think is really cool in that movie. And the cast is great. Except maybe Katie Holmes. I guess she's okay. She's not awful. People kind of exaggerate, I think, how bad she is.
I've never had an issue with her. Dagenspier makes a good point that they do have the antidote.
They do, but like I said, it's just kind of cleaned up between scenes. Like, I feel like there's just another scene that kind of needs to be there for me. Also, with Rises, Gordon's apparently so stupid that he did not learn from Commissioner Loeb, who sent the entire police force into the depots.
Right?
Like, Dadoy, come on now.
Well, and not only that, but he was directly impacted by that.
No, exactly.
He's standing there like, I'm on my own?
Yeah, he's like the one cop that's like, no, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do the actual thing that's going to help.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Okay. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, Austin. So I don't know if we've got time to do more than my next one.
Yeah, entirely up to you.
We might go ahead and leave it here. It'll be, I guess, well, we will have done 5 apiece again. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's 5. I can go longer, but like if you need to call it, then call it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I really can't tonight.
Yeah.
My 41 is Unbreakable.
Okay.
Which
I
admittedly
thought that would be higher.
Well, and I've not seen it in a long time. And I don't want to say that the sequels hurt it too much, because that is a movie that stands really great on its own. And if it has sequels that I don't buy in that world, it's so easy to just dismiss them. So it's not really about Glass. I just haven't watched that in a long time. And I know we've said this over and over again, but we kept putting this off because we were trying to watch things ahead of time. There was no chance I was going to watch 100 movies before we got, or even the 40 or 50 I probably would have felt more comfortable seeing before we talked about this stuff. But there was a time where it probably would have been a little higher. Like if we were doing this back more shortly after I did the rewind on it, because I can't remember if I had seen that before or when I did the rewind and then it just made this massive first impression on me, or if I'd only seen it once and I didn't know it super well. I can't even remember anymore. Austin. But I also I think the thing that does hurt it maybe a little bit is the sheer number of superhero deconstruction and pseudo what would a superhero in the real world be like. Like there's a lot of those to choose from now.
No, there are things that I think does it better and worse.
Yep.
After that, yeah.
The big thing that sticks with me with that movie is performances, and a couple of really cool, clever ideas. And I always thought that, and I think maybe you've seen that, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was one of the movies I watched for this.
I want to say you told me that when you saw it, you saw the ending coming and it was kind of obvious. And I didn't have that the first time I saw it.
No, I knew what the ending was just for like cultural osmosis.
Oh, you just already knew it. I see.
It was I would say like the last 10 minutes is what I thought the whole movie was. I think that's probably what you're thinking of, where I was like, oh, I didn't
Okay.
realize that like this was the movie where it was like questioning like the power thing and whatnot. I thought it was just, oh, this guy, he's in a train accident and he's like, oh man, I have powers. And then this Mr. Glass guy is like, yeah, you should go fight crime, man. And then he's like, you're right. And then they like work together and they do that,
The
which is not at
big
all what that movie is, but like kind of
no, the big
is an aspect of it.
well, and then when you do get the glass, they overcomplicate that backstory, and I think they even retcon some things, and it gets very silly. But in spoilers for this movie, of course, but you know the big kind of typical Shyamalan twist in that, I think it's cool because it's a little bit more subtle than they tend to be with a lot of his stuff, and there's not really a supernatural component to it, so it's just this guy is really the bad guy and has been orchestrating all of this all along, and it tracks pretty well. That really works. The thing I remember, and I'm hesitating with this because it's been so long since I've seen it, but the thing I remember always raising an eyebrow about with that, especially a movie that's kind of making a big deal out of, you know, I'm more realistic than your typical superhero thing, and and trying to say that some like natural things that could happen to a person might look like superpowers in the real world. I remember not really getting how that guy didn't know he had super strength.
Mhm. Well, and then he like,
Because I don't think he just develops it, right? Like isn't the idea he's always had it, but he's only just now realizing it because of the train rag?
I think it's more like it's like being called out, and he's kind of spent his whole life trying to pretend like he doesn't.
Oh,
So
that's
now
what
it's
it
like
is.
now he
Okay,
has to kind of come to terms with it. I think is more so what it is.
maybe that works. Okay, I just don't remember.
Hmm.
Shyamalan's also, and I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his more recent stuff, but at that time anyway, he seemed really good at casting child actors.
Oh, sure.
So it's just
Yeah,
really believable kids in his movies.
which is funny because then you'll get to a point where not even the adults are believable in his movies, and everyone talks like this or like just really unnaturally.
And I just think Willis is really good in it.
He is really good. He and Samuel L. Jackson are both really good in it.
And that kind of climactic scene where he finally, sucks it up and does the hero thing and runs into that house, I think is really well shot. Like I've always really appreciated that. I like the grit of that.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. No, I like
I'm kind of want to sit down and watch it again.
no, and I liked Unbreakable quite a bit. Um, Split almost made my list. Like it made my list, and then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, I feel like I have to take it off.
Oh wow. Well, I just think it's cool that you even I considered it
Hmm. No, it
because I
was
feel like I'm the only person that still likes that movie.
yeah, and I just felt like in the moment I was like, okay, here are the things I'm really liking, here are the things I'm not. And just the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, like there's just this nagging voice in my head that's like, ah, this movie's a little dumber than you were kind of giving it credit for. And I ended up taking it off, but it almost made my list. I think I had it at like number 80. But Unbreakable I liked quite a bit. It's probably my favorite Shyamalan film, which isn't saying much because I've seen like those two films, Knock at the Door, and like part of The Happening and part of Signs, but like not since it came out.
I was sitting here looking. I couldn't remember where I put it on mine. I had it at 85.
Yes, I feel like we were about the same place.
Well, I'm talking about Split.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Split almost made my list. It was about 80 something.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I missed a little bit of that because I was like, I know I said it somewhere. I couldn't find it. So you're saying if you had included it, it would have been that high?
Yeah, well, that's where I put it, and then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, ah, I feel like I got to take this off.
That's fair. That'll be an interesting one when we get to it on the commentary project. Because
Yeah,
because
because
I'm curious to see where you'll land on it when
mm,
when you give it another watch and when we talk about it together.
mm-hmm.
Because I could see me pulling you a little bit more positive on it, and I could see you pulling me a little bit more negative on it.
When it's all just about that balance, because the stuff that works we'll both agree on, and I feel like the stuff that doesn't we'll also probably
Then
agree
it's
on.
just Then it's just a matter
And
of
then it's just
degrees, how it hits you.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like it's undeniable. McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy are both great in it, but then
It,
there's other stuff that kind of is dragging it down.
but it's real watchable.
Yeah, no, that is true. I mean, like I said, I when I first watched it, I was like, this is good enough to be on the list. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe not. Oh, with Unbreakable though, my thing with the ending, because you mentioned the ending with me, what you might be thinking of is I'm not sure about the ending, not in the twist, because I think that entire scene is really good. The only thing that I kind of walked away going, I don't know about that choice, is that when he's walking away, you have the text that's like, oh, and then they caught Mr. Glass, like the end. I wasn't sure about that as an ending,
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that.
but that's more like
Then it looks like a biopic.
exactly, and I don't know if I dislike it, but like I'm on the fence on it. I feel like there's maybe a really cool ending that we're kind of missing, where they, you know,
That's a great point.
kind of interacting after that. But that actual scene is really good.
Well, folks, we knocked out another five apiece. We'll try to come back next week and do at least that many, if not more. And we
Hmm.
appreciate you guys watching. We're gonna go ahead and get going for now,
And I
but
got a crazy next five. Next five, there's going to be carnage.
probably not though. What are my next five? What number did we just leave off on?
41.
41. Oh yeah, no. That will be an interesting next video. All right, well, folks, we
I've got a
appreciate
real
you.
mix.
We'll see you soon. I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin, the Day Ghost.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Bye, folks.